One of the reasons that church has sucked is because there is something in our past, a failure, a struggle, a secret, and for whatever reason, people in the church have judged or alienated us or somehow made us feel disqualified because we had some issues in our past. And so many of us and people in our community have stayed away from the church because they've been judged and you'd rather just stay home and be honest than dress up and try to look good and join in the hypocrisy of just pretending that everything's okay. One of my favorite church leaders describes his church experience this way. He says, "I almost didn't survive the church of my youth. Our church couldn't tolerate a Christian that had a problem. So when people had problems, they didn't talk about them. They were so ashamed they had problems, they just quit coming to church." And there is a perception that the people who go to church are the all-together people, but the people who have losses and failures and struggles in their relationships or have habits, that those are the people that somehow need to stay away from church. And sometimes the people that have disqualified them for being a part of a church aren't other people. For some, they've even disqualified themselves. Because of something in our past, we end up walking around with this thought: I'm disqualified from church because I'm, and you fill in the blank. I've got this issue, so I can't participate. Or they wouldn't want me to participate. And so here's what we do. We take our issue and we take our problem and we sweep it and hide it under the rug and we try not to think about it. And we try to put it in here where no one can see it and no one can know about it. And we try to leave it and we're kind of afraid to resolve it. And we begin to think that the worst place on the planet to deal with these issues in our life would be the church. And we often think when it comes to God and His church, we just can't be who we really are. And so what we do is we sweep our past here and just try to move on. But come on. You already know this is true. Unresolved issues of the past, they don't stay here, do they? No, what they do is they follow us into the present and then they influence our future. But what if the exact opposite were true? What if the things that we feel like are our biggest or greatest regrets or biggest loss or the thing that gives us the most anxiety are the very things that God wants to heal and use to help other people who are struggling with the exact same stuff? What if the greatest place to deal with what's really hiding under here, what if it really is the church? And what we're about to discover is that that is exactly the case. God is not scared of what's under here. And today you've walked into a church that isn't scared of this either. And when the church works best is when a group of people love in spite of what's here, and individuals can pull back the rug and begin to move this back without judgment. And that God can begin to heal what we've hidden for so long so that we can in turn bring hope and comfort to others who are in similar situations. Which is completely the opposite of what most people think. And why is that? See, I've invited a lot of people to church over the years. And one of the top reasons that people say they don't come is, well, you know, Shane, I've got this thing going on and I need to get that fixed because, man, come on, if I walked into a church, I think the building would fall down or lightning would strike. And don't get me wrong, I'm working on it. And as soon as I get it fixed, I'll be there. I just don't want to be a hypocrite. And I'm sure you don't want me to be one either. And so as a pastor, and on behalf of all Christians everywhere, let me just say, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that we have given you the idea that the church is somehow only for perfect people who have nothing under the rug. That if you have issues or secrets, that the last place you better be is the church. I apologize for that, because that's not what the church should be about.